Hi, I'm Casey. I'm a professor and I give advice to graduate students on YouTube. I've also done a bunch of videos about applying for PhD programs, and it's possible if you're watching this video that congratulations are in order, or maybe you're just really planning ahead. That's fine too. But I am actually filming this video in April, which is an exciting time for PhD applications because, at least in the United States, decisions tend to be due in mid-April, which means that people are about to be settled. They're about to know where they're going to be pursuing a PhD starting in the fall. And I have gotten the same question over and over recently, which is, what do I do in the summer before I start my PhD? Now, I confess I've been giving kind of quick, flippant answers to this. I even considered doing a 1-minute video in response to this question because I do have a very simple answer for you. But then I'll go on and do a whole video because I, can think of a few more things to say, I guess. But I have to say, my actual answer to what should you do this summer is relax. Enjoy your summer. Enjoy potentially a summer that has less obligations than what you might have in the future, if you can. But importantly here, I don't want you to think that there's anything you have to do to prepare for a PhD program. As some of you might recall, I have a law degree as well as a PhD. I went to law school first, and law school is a little bit different. I don't actually completely understand why, but there is this pervasive advice that you're supposed to learn everything for your first year law school classes before you come to law school. I mean, I kind of even bought into it. I probably didn't do that great of a job. Like, my first year law grades were, fine, but not stellar. Maybe I should have studied more over the summer. But the point is, a PhD is not like that. You don't need to learn things for your PhD before you start, except in perhaps unusual circumstances. So seriously, you could stop the video right now if you wanted to. What do you do before you start your PhD? Enjoy your summer. That said, I suppose I do have a few recommendations of things that you can do. The first versions of relaxing and enjoying your summer might include things that you can do to sort of refresh yourself or get things in order, things that you might not have an opportunity to do for a while. Spending time with your family, traveling for fun, maybe having a summer job that's just kind of fun and isn't something that's adding to your academic resume. Reading for pleasure. Playing video games. Spending a lot of time outside, exercising, whatever it means for you to relax and enjoy your summer. So that would be the very first thing I would recommend. And even if you do all of these other things I'm about to say, I hope that you're able to take some time to do that. So, the next thing I would say is there might be some things you can do over the summer that will help sort of get things in order for you or make you less stressed once you start your PhD. These might include things like working over the summer so that you can earn some extra money, doing things to organize your life or your finances, even something like setting routines that you can keep doing that will be healthy for you, like exercising or cooking for yourself or reading a little bit every day. Another thing you might consider, if you can, is moving earlier than you might have to the city where you're going to be pursuing your PhD. Living in a new place in itself can be quite stressful, and so making that huge change right on top of starting a PhD can actually make it a little bit harder. Now, you might not be able to do this, and to be clear, it's totally fine. It's really common for someone to move to a new city 2 days before they start their PhD. I moved to a new city 2 days before I started my new job. I spent faculty orientation week on an air mattress in my empty apartment. So it'll be fine. But if you're able to do that, to spend some time getting to know a new city, It might take some of the stress off for you. You also could consider, as part of that travel thing, maybe spending some time earlier in the summer in that city to check out housing or to just get to know it a little bit more as a vacation than moving there. And if you can't do either of those things, you might consider looking up a lot of stuff. Yay, internet! Figure out what the new vet's going to be for your dog and where you think you might get lunch sometimes. What's your route going to be to drive or walk to campus? And then, I don't know, watch YouTube videos about your new city. Another thing that could be really helpful for you, especially if the program does some facilitation of this for you, is to get to know some of your new colleagues before you start. This might mean the current PhD students in the program. It might even mean, and this could be really helpful, the rest of the cohort of new students. If your program doesn't do something to put you in touch with each other, I really recommend asking, because it can be so helpful for you to be able to coordinate and commiserate as you're moving and starting something new. Plus, it's great to feel like you already have friends when you go to a new place. For example, as soon as the decision deadline passes in our department, we add all of the incoming students to the Slack channel for our whole department where the students and faculty all hang out, and that's really useful because people can ask questions and get help and just get to know each other. All right, I suppose you've also been thinking, but shouldn't I be doing work? Like, shouldn't I be doing academic-y stuff in the summer before I start my PhD? Again, I want to say that you definitely don't have to do this, not unless you're told for some reason. It might be possible, for example, that you're stepping into a research assistantship on a grant and the PI says, I really need you to hit the ground running. Can you please learn this thing before you start? If something like that happens, then yeah, totally do it. But if no one tells you something like that, I wouldn't try to make up things that you think you really need to know, because there probably isn't anything that you really need to know before you start. You are getting a PhD so that you can learn things. You don't need to learn things on your own before you get there. Now, all of that said, it is very possible, in fact, I hope this is true, that you are incredibly excited and enthusiastic about your discipline and the kind of work that you're going to be doing and becoming a fledgling, awesome new academic. And so I totally want to encourage you to run with that energy. If it really is something that you're going to enjoy and is going to feed your passion, then yeah. And I think the thing that I would recommend most is to read. You're going to be doing so much reading as a PhD student, and it can be good to get in the habit. Now, to be clear, this is not like, oh my gosh, I need to learn the canon of my discipline. Let me get a copy of the qualifying exams reading list so that I can read it all before I start so I'm not behind. That is not what I mean. What I mean is read the things that interest you. Read the things that you're excited about. Don't worry about whether it's what you need to know. Don't worry about whether it's what your advisor is going to want you to know or whether it's stuff that's going to be in your classes. None of that matters. Just read the things that you find exciting. It'll help you keep up that excitement and momentum. Now let's say that you don't know where to start and you don't really know what to read, but you still really want to. You could consider asking other PhD students or your incoming advisor for some suggestions. But I wouldn't phrase this as like, what are things I need to read or that I need to know, but like, what are things that have excited you recently? Another thing you might do is read papers from other students in that PhD program. See what they're up to. Then you'll have something to talk about. But again, I want to emphasize that you shouldn't feel like you need to learn particular things unless, again, you're told that you need to learn something or you know that there's something that you really need to know. This is really about keeping up your excitement and feeding it. And if you're not feeling that, if you really feel like you would benefit instead from rejuvenation, recharging, coming in fresh and still excited, then I think you should absolutely do that. It's also totally fine to be like, I want to work 40 hours a week at a Starbucks for the summer so that I make some money. And it can be nice to do a job that doesn't use your brain as much because you're going to be using your brain a whole lot starting in the fall. Anyway, my point is, do whatever you think will result in you come August being as excited as possible, and that will decrease your stress as much as possible. What that's going to look like is going to be slightly different for everyone. All right, and again, if you are watching this because you are in exactly this position, congratulations and good luck. Welcome to academia. I hope you're subscribed to my channel. I've got so much advice for you. In fact, I guess you can go watch my advice for new PhD students video. I'm Casey. Thanks for watching.